This 39 Dunedin News Bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on 39 Dunedin News, back for round 3. The city's mayor announces he'll run again, but this time he'll do it independently. Tea and photography proved to be a winning blend and earn a Dunedin woman top honours in a national competition. And years of planning and months of construction pass to reveal the result of essential improvements. Good evening, Dunedin. I'm Rebecca Dupree. Candidates are starting to emerge for this year's local body elections being held in October. Mayor Dave Cull has announced he'll stand for another term, which would be his third, but he's moving away from the group that helped him gain power previously.
Working on another 3 years in office, Mayor Dave Cull is planning to stand for the role once again. If he's elected, it'll be his third term in charge, and he's got ideas about how to best serve the community going forward.
The big challenges we've got in our community are population balance, attracting more people here, more businesses and more jobs, and the other is around climate change and some of those things. That's a big challenge.
There will no longer be a Greater Dunedin campaign group, which was successfully led by the Mayor and involved other councillors. Instead, candidates are planning to run independently.
Well, we go back to 2007 when we started, and then the subsequent elections, and our ambition was to get new and better people onto council. There was a real gap, and to get some more transparency, some fiscal responsibility and some future focus into council thinking. Now, we succeeded in both counts. We got some really good people into council.
The local body elections are held every 3 years on the second Saturday in October. This year's voting will take place on the 8th, when residents will be asked to support their preferred representatives. The Labour Party is planning to push several members into City Hall, and existing councillor David Benson-Pope might join that bandwagon. Mayor Cull says there needn't be concerns over political influence within the council chamber.
The important thing is what councillors base their decision making and their voting on. And if it's on the evidence in front of them from the staff or wherever else, and their own values and the considerations of the local community, that's fine.
Kate Wilson's the only councillor at present to confirm she's not seeking re-election, but Andrew Noon says he's unlikely to stand again. Rosie Mannins, 39 Dunedin News.
Fewer prisoners are using drugs in jail, as shown in the latest data released by the government. Corrections Minister Judith Collins says positive drug tests among prisoners are at an all-time low. There were more than 4,500 random drug tests on inmates last year. Just 3% returned positive results, down from 10% 5 years ago. At the start of the millennium, almost a quarter of random drug tests in jail were positive. Since then, corrections officers have been given more legal power to search inmates and their property. Prison security has been stepped up, and visitors are also subject to greater security. A Dunedin woman's love of tea and photography has seen her take out top honours in a national competition. The win has surprised the aspiring photographer, who's a first-time entrant, but her shot almost didn't make the cut.
Reviewing an award-winning photograph, Edith Lee's celebrating having beaten out 15 other finalists in a national competition organised by Canon and Dilmar Tea. Her picture wasn't a spur-of-the-moment thing, with detailed planning going into the stellar shot.
I had this idea in my head that I wanted to take a photo of my daughter having a tea party with her soft toy animals, and I was actually staying down in Manapuri with my mum, and I'd been out a few days before because I knew I wanted to take it in long grass.
To get the ideal photo, Lee, her mother and 5-year-old Anika got up at 6:30 in the morning to catch the best light. She ended up entering 6 photos into the competition, but the winning one was a last-minute inclusion.
Obviously I had quite a few from that shoot, and I'd picked out what I thought was the best one, and I thought, oh, I can't really enter 2 that are kind of looking the same. And then at the last minute I thought, okay, I might as well just enter it. And yeah, I'm so glad I did.
Lee's blown away with her winnings, which include $5,000 worth of Canon camera gear and a 10-day all-expenses-paid trip to Sri Lanka. She's travelled extensively, spending 5 years overseas, but is excited about going somewhere new.
I've never been there before, but friends that have been there tell me it's great, and I just can't wait to go, to be there drinking tea and taking photos with all the new gear that I can buy with my prize.
Lee's just begun to pursue photography professionally with several family shoots and a wedding under her belt. She's looking forward to expanding her repertoire in coming months and using her new gear to gain a better focus. Ruby McAndrew, 39, Dunedin News.
Staff at a Dunedin cafe are claiming they're the first in the country to ban paper coffee cups. The Eden Cafe in Otago Polytechnic's H Block won't be serving coffee in takeaway cups as of Monday. Functions and Catering Executive Chef Mark Lane is sourcing ceramic and china alternatives. He's also reportedly getting students to make cups from clay he's purchased. The move is part of the Polytechnic's efforts to become more sustainable. After years of planning, several essential improvements to the city's Buddhist centre are finally finished. Extensive roof repairs and a paint job have taken months and almost $500,000 to complete, and those who worked hard to get the money couldn't be happier to see construction end.
Back to its former glory. After 5 months of construction, the roof of the Dagi Buddhist Centre is now at the highest standard. While it's been a relatively short process to fully repair the roof, those at the centre say it's been a long time coming.
It's been years, really. I mean, first of all, we realised that there was a significant problem with the condition of the slates and the condition of the valleys and those sorts of things, and we just thought, well, we're getting leakages into the house, we need to do something to fix the roof.
The centre's been in Royal Terrace for almost 30 years and has hosted the Dalai Lama several times. Its longevity and Category 1 heritage status helped to secure financial support from several organisations, but the fundraising efforts weren't without challenges.
The building had to be completely owned by the trust, because people will only donate to a charitable trust. So we had to take on a debt of half the building to begin with, so that then it was fully in our ownership and they could fund it.
The Dunedin City Council's Heritage Fund and the Lotteries Commission were instrumental in providing money for the extensive roof work. Small's pleased it's all worked out and says members of the public have been expressing their appreciation.
Over time it's kind of grown to something to sort of, it's kind of supporting the area now as well. You know, we've gone from being the poor cousin to people say now the grand old dame of the street, you know. It was looking pretty bad, so we've done a paint job as well as doing the roof work as well.
Scaffolding is set to come down within the next week to show off the revitalised centre. With construction complete, its future looks secure, providing the public with a place of learning for years to come. Ruby McAndrew, 39, Dunedin News.
Still to come on 39 Dunedin News, we'll find out why a community group is being established to focus on last year's flooding, and we'll take a look at last night's Scarfie party.
We're at Alex Campbell's. We've got far too many shirts. We've got buy one, get one free at the moment on all shirts. Business shirts, short sleeve shirts, you name it. Buy one, get one free. Buy one, get one free. Buy one, get one free. Buy one, get one free.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell menswear, it fits.
Grandad loved his family and surfing, in that order. He taught me to surf, and we spent a lot of time in the water together over the years. When he died, I strapped the camera to the nose of his old board and filmed the paddle out at St. Clair. Gillian's played the video on the big screen at his funeral. Grandad would have loved having everyone come out one last surf with him.
Gillian's Funeral Services, helping families celebrate the lives of their loved ones for generations. gillians.co.nz.
Hello, I'm Dougal Stevenson. Welcome to Museum Diaries, the programme where we delve deeper into the museum vaults. So this week, Greek ceramics, the Otago shag. Yes, we do have one. Early hominid stone tools and what they meant to early civilization and what they mean to us. And you'll love this, Thomas Jeffrey Parker's glycerin stomachs.
Well, bees are very fascinating creatures, and they constantly confound you about how little we really know about them.
About 4 of every 5 mouthfuls of food you eat have input of bees somewhere in the food chain.
I think they're fascinating. I can't think of a more interesting animal to work with.
Bees are economically the most important insects in the world.
Are you looking to add a new dimension to your home? A Christie's glasshouse and shed will add value to your property and increase your gardening pleasure, and can be easily ventilated during the day. A Christie's garden shed is a brilliant addition to your backyard, adding to your storage capacity. The great Kiwi glasshouse and shed come in all shapes and sizes, are manufactured in Dunedin, and come in a range of nature-inspired colour steel colours or metallic zinc aluminum finish. Choose the Kiwi shed that has stood the test of time. Choose Christie.
Here's something else to look forward to sinking your teeth into every weekend with the Otago Daily Times, the Weekend Mix, your guide to what's hot in fashion, entertainment, food and more. New weekend magazine in your ODT. Pick up your copy this Saturday.
Welcome back. International visitor spending has increased by almost a third in the last year. The government's latest figures show just under $10 billion was spent by foreign tourists in 2015. Significant growth is being seen in the China market, which is up 63%. United States residents are also making their mark on New Zealand soil, with a 40% jump in spending to $1 billion. Australia remains New Zealand's largest international visitor market and is also up with 19% growth. And on that note, let's take a look at today's financials. The NZX 50 has closed the day unchanged at 6,225 points. The Dow Jones is up 212. And to the exchange rates, and the Kiwi dollar is up against all the currencies that we follow. Dunedin South MP Claire Curran is encouraging residents to get involved in a new community group set up in response to last June's flooding. She's organising a public meeting and joins us to talk about it, as well as the upcoming local body elections. Good evening. Tell us about the group that you're setting up.
Well, I'm hoping to set up a South Dunedin protection group. Currently there is no really strong voice out there, and I think we all know that South Dunedin suffered a major flood last year, that there was a pretty serious aftermath for hundreds of residents, and there's a lot of question marks. And of course it's not just residents, it's businesses, it's organisations that have halls out there, that run events out there, that have where it's an important part of their community. So, and it's not just South Dunedin as well, it includes parts of St Clair, St Kilda, Tainui and Musselburgh, so it's quite a big area, but I think everyone knows it as South D. So, but hoping to form a protection group, and a public meeting is the first step really, because it's about getting the conversation going and people putting their hands up and saying, yes, I'd like to be involved.
What are you hoping to achieve with the group?
Well, I think a few things. I think that first of all that the rest of the city and the City Council needs to see that people have a voice out there and have views and have questions and need information, and I think that's what the public meeting is about, is really to articulate some of those things. What is the information that people need? What are the questions that they have? What are the concerns that they have? Because there's two issues, I suppose. There's the short-term impact of the flood and why the floods happened, what were the infrastructure problems, and some honesty and accountability around that, and I think that's really important. And then there's the longer term, which is the rising water tables, the impact of climate change. I don't think anybody could blame those floods in June on rising water tables and climate change. There were infrastructure issues that went wrong. But people need to know, they need to know the information, and they need to have good information from their local body representatives.
When is this public meeting going to be held?
7th of March, so it's a Monday week, at 6 p.m. at the Nations Church, which is in King Edward Street. I really encourage anyone, and it's not just for people who live in South Dunedin, it's people who care about South Dunedin. After all, you know, it's the that's how you've got to go across South Dunedin to get to the beach. You know, a lot of people work in that area, they provide services in that area. It's an important flat part of our city, so let's all look after it.
Are there still people living with the effects of the flood from last year?
Yes, there are. There are people who are still not back in their homes. There are people who are struggling with insurance companies. There are people who are still living in their homes who have not had work done since the flood, and there are people who have you know, have question marks over whether the resale value of their homes, and you know, a whole lot of things. And I think that's part of the issue. There are a lot of people who rent housing out there. The housing wasn't that flash, a lot of it, but there are people who own and live in their own homes who have got question marks about their futures, and they're all really valid questions.
Now, on a different note, the Labour Party has announced that it's going to put a bit of a Labour ticket in for the council this year. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, that's one way of describing it, but I think, and it's not final, so it's not a done deal or anything like that, and I think it's important to have some community discussion about it. But yeah, the Labour Party locally has been talking about encouraging some candidates to stand on what we call a local Labour, I guess, well, you can call it a ticket, but it's really on a platform. So we're talking about it, we're discussing the ins and outs and looking for people who are interested to stand.
Are you planning to stand?
Absolutely not. I've got a job to do as the representative of Dunedin South as a Labour MP, and you know, I love my job. It's not always that easy, but I appreciate what local body councillors do and stand for those roles. I've got no intention of doing it.
Dunedin South MP Claire Curran, thanks very much for your time.
You're welcome.
After the break on 39 Dunedin News, why it wasn't just local artists putting on a show at last night's student party, and we'll take a look at the results of this week's online poll.
Do you want support for your breathing? You are not alone. In New Zealand, over 600,000 people have some form of breathing difficulty, especially with the high pollen season in New Zealand. Puff Plus is an excellent natural product developed to support lung function and breathing difficulties. Puff Plus is so effective, you get a no questions asked money-back guarantee on the first purchase. Give it a go, you have nothing to lose. Call now, 0800 502 402. Take as directed. If symptoms persist, see your healthcare professional.
Pregnant? Need to talk? 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Pregnancy counselling services are here to help. It's free, it's confidential. Call us now on 0800 773 462.
Don't miss the home show. Lots of great ideas, great prizes, great deals, kitchens, bathrooms, furnishings and lots more. The Epicenter More FM Arena, 4th, 5th, 6th of March. Adults $10, children free. See you at the home show. Yes, Sunny Chin.
Neck, shoulder, back, sciatica, pain specialists. Innovative tools specifically designed to contour your grooves of depletion and excess muscle buildup.
Sunny Chin, it works. For professional, reliable and approachable service where your dream kitchen design can become an affordable reality, contact the team at Kitchens for Less. Call 455 9973 or visit us online.
They've got it's all about our customer care, great food, great coffee, and supported by some awesome staff. We think it's really important that the customers, when they come in here, have a good experience and leave wanting to come back. And I think in a nutshell, that's what the Good Oil's all about.
Bring some more joy into your world by adopting one of our adult animals at SPCA Otago. Call now on 473 8252. Please adopt a pet now, they will love you forever.
Pallet fires are growing in popularity in Otago, with people who want a clean and efficient form of home heating. The sight of a burning flame without the problems of chopping, stacking and carting wood around is a winner. Pallet fires, so easy, so efficient.
Mosgiel Mowers Plus can help you with products to make your garden maintenance jobs easier. Lawn mowers, ride-ons, chainsaws, line trimmers. Sales and service are our specialty. Mosgiel Mowers Plus. Phone 489 3572 22B Gordon Road, Mosgiel.
Tune in on Thursday for Motorsport Night on Dunedin Television.
We're at Alex Campbell's. We've got far too many shirts. We've got buy one, get one free at the moment on all shirts. Business shirts, short sleeve shirts, you name it. Buy one, get one free. Buy one, get one free. Buy one, get one free. Buy one, get one free.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Welcome back. The University of Otago is generally pleased with student behaviour so far during orientation week. Thousands of Scarfies partied at one of the biggest events on the tertiary calendar last night, and it wasn't just local artists putting on a show.
Up close and personal with some big names in music. Thousands of students and residents got a taste of some large international artists at last night's freshman gig. The stadium concert included top-selling American singer Jhené Aiko, rapper G-Eazy and Kiwi acts David Dallas and DJ Severe. They performed hours of hits for revellers to enjoy as part of the Orientation Week festivities. This is the biggest week for the OUSA, but no one was available to comment on camera. Organisers are now preparing for Kiwi group Shapeshifter, who are performing tonight as O Week comes to a close. A few partygoers had to be taken care of by volunteers, but the Students' Association says most were well behaved. Nearly 4,000 people attended the gig at Forsyth Bar Stadium. The OUSA won't comment about how much money it's spending on Orientation Week, saying finances are still being worked out. The university's proctor has issued a statement about the students' generally pleasing conduct so far. Police say a couch was stolen from George Street last night when 2 furniture fires were lit nearby in the student quarter. Annabelle Dick, 39, Dunedin News.
The government is still considering whether to grant David Bain compensation for wrongful imprisonment. An independent review of his case has been submitted to Justice Minister Amy Adams, but there's no indication as to when a decision will be made. This week's 39 Dunedin News online poll asked you if you felt that David Bain should be compensated. 33% of you think he should, 67% of you think he should not. More than 300 residents have made submissions to the DCC about proposed changes to local bylaws. Many people don't want the council to impose further restrictions on pet dogs. So next week's 39 Dunedin News online poll asks you if you feel that dogs should have to be on leads at beaches and sports grounds. You can vote at our website dunedintv.co.nz. And now recapping tonight's top stories on 39 Dunedin News. Mayor Dave Cull has confirmed he's standing for re-election in October, but it won't be with the Greater Dunedin Campaign Group. An aspiring photographer has won a national competition despite being a first-time entrant, and she's heading overseas as a result. And months of construction are over for the city's Buddhist Centre, which has undergone extensive roof repairs and a paint job. Well, it's time now to find out what's going to be in the weekend edition of the Otago Daily Times, and Deputy Editor Craig Page joins us. Good evening.
Good evening, Rebecca. Yeah, we've got quite an interesting story looking at St John's Ambulance. They've raised concerns about a lack of funding and staffing numbers, which may force them to not send ambulances to some incidents down the track. At the moment, there's single crew ambulances going out to about 10% of their jobs, and they believe that's raising safety issues for the patients and staff, so some big concerns there. Our Weekend Mix magazine this week, we've got an interesting piece with local architect Fred van Brandenburg. He's doing some amazing things in China. He's designed a multi-billion-dollar complex over there. Work started in 2008 and it won't be finished till 2019. And of course, Super Rugby time, the Highlanders start their defence tonight against the Blues, and we'll have full coverage of that, and I'm sure you'll be watching, Rebecca.
Absolutely. Thank you, Craig. That's tomorrow's ODT, plus more. It's time now for local weather.
This weather update is proudly brought to you in association with Silverhorn's Puff Plus.
Here is today's city view. It's taken of the cycle path towards Port Chalmers. Around the city at 3 o'clock, it was pretty pleasant indeed. 27 for both the Central City and the Gardens, and 28 for the Tyree. To the situation, and the airflow will tend cooler southwesterly over the weekend as another anticyclone develops in the Tasman. To the forecast for the main towns in the Lower South Island for tomorrow. Sou'westers with showers clearing for Invercargill and Te Anau, becoming fine with sou'westers for Gore. Bit of cloud around in Alexandra with westerly winds and a high of 19. Westerlies and some cloud for Queenstown, Wanaka and Twizel, and sou'westers for Oamaru with a bit of cloud there, 18. At Dunedin tonight, fine with nor'westers. They could possibly become quite strong. Tonight's low 11. Sou'westers developing tomorrow with a few brief showers possible, but things will fine up in the afternoon with the winds easing, a high of 18. And on Sunday, sunny periods and nor'easters with a high of 18. And my pick for washing day. And finally to the Otago Pallet Fires tidal and fishing information. High tide tomorrow morning is at 7:45. Low tide on Sunday afternoon is at 3:15. And fishing conditions look good this weekend, especially at 5 to 5 tomorrow afternoon and 20 to 6 on Sunday evening. And that is all from the team here at 39 Dunedin News for this week. We will leave you now with some shots from the week that was, and we'll see you again on Monday. Good night.
This 39 Dunedin News Bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.